Hello and greetings, fellow gamers. Here is Civilized Half Orc, and welcome to my third part of Let's Play Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut. We're gonna head back to our safe house. Now, there's someone waiting, or checker. You step aside, and the squalor of the disused U-Bahn tunnel gives away the warmth of your safe house. A man waits inside, silhouetted against the dim fluorescent lighting. Something bad has happened, hasn't it? He steps forward, revealing a pale and expressionless face, light glinting of steel-rimmed glasses. Paul Amsel, your team's fixer and landlord. Part deal maker, part information broker, one of the most well-connected men in Berlin. His eyes sweep across the team as he takes it all in. The grim faces, the hard stares, Iger's fury, Monica's absent. I had a feeling. How did she... His face has gone ashen. He swallows, takes a moment to chew on the words before spitting them out. How did it happen? Something in the vault security system got her while she was checked in. It was over in an instant. No, the run was the setup. 1 minute she was cracking the safe, the next she was on the ground screaming. I've seen Monica hit Black IC before. This was something worse. Worse than Black IC? Okay. Glory nods, her motion robotic and spare. Monica died of a biofeedback-induced stroke. That's right. Igo thrust a gloved finger into your chest. And this idiot stood by and let it happen. Ignored. Let it happen? She jacked in, she screamed, and she ceased. By the time we saw she was in trouble, it was already too late. Yeah, because you never bothered learning what to look for. Muscle contraction and microtremors are good indicators of a decker in distress. I'm assuming you didn't have anyone keeping an eye out for those. No, if you had, my friend wouldn't be lying dead in the basement. Oh, shove off, Iger. We were all on the lookout for physical security, Slick Flimsy included. Throwing him under the bus isn't going to help anything. Under a bus is exactly where he belongs. Igo turns to face Dietrich. She towers over him, but he stands on his ground. I respect you, Dietrich. You know that. But you don't have my training. None of you have. Monica was good. She was the best, right? But she was also overconfident. She treated the job like it was a game. Do that long enough and you're gonna get burned. Igo turns her focus back to you. If you'd been paying attention, you'd have figured out all of this out on your own by now. You've known that Monica's needed watching as much as that door. Enough, Iger. Hamza's voice is hoarse, with his expression blank. Enough. Iger pushes ahead, heedless of the interruption. Her voice remains measured, but there's fire in her eyes. How many seconds passed between Monica's first convulsion and her plug getting pulled? 4? 5? Do you know how much damage biofeedback can do to a decker's brain in 5 seconds? Iger, You don't have to answer that. Of course you do know. Monica died while you stood there and watched. This is all your That's enough! Hamza's voice comes out in a roar, and his fist smashes down on the desk behind him. Iger, you and Slick Flimsy can have it out later, but I had enough. We need to talk action. Our client sent you into something much bigger than he'd let us to believe. I want to know why. Right, there with you. This was supposed to be a milk run. Payback isn't the only reason why we need to find him. We saw something back there, something that we weren't supposed to see. It's fair to assume that we're all still in danger. He pauses, rubs his templates. Agreed. And to neutralize that danger, we need to know who we are dealing with. Let us review the events that transpired tonight. The smallest detail could be important, so hold nothing back. After everything went to hell, we were confronted by an orc in a military-grade armor. He appeared to be head of security. That is not much to go on. Do any details about this orc come to mind? Any disgusting features that I could look into? He was an older guy, for one. From the sound of his voice, I'm guessing mid to late 40s. Pretty old for an orc. And he had skin grafts. Most of his face looked like replacement material. If the grafts came from a legitimate hospital, there may be medical records. That is something. I will see what I can find out. Did you note anything else during the run that might be of value? Monica lived long enough to say a name. Feuerschwinger. She fought hard to tell us. It must be important. Amso seems taken aback. He pauses for a moment before responding. The Fire Wing. This is unexpected. You'll have to forgive me. This brings back many unpleasant memories. The Fire Wing? The most terrible of the great dragons. There are those who would disagree, but they never experienced the terror of the living in her shadow. You are far too young to remember her, of course, but for Germans of my generation, the name Feuerschwinger is synonymous with chaos, destruction, and death. The dragons of today are subtle creatures, full of patience and guile. Feuerschwinger was not. After her awakening, she went on a 4-month rampage that claimed tens of thousands of lives. Amso takes a deep breath, slowly released. There is a haunted look in his eyes. Those were dark days. Countless men, women, and children were slaughtered, roasted alive in their homes by a creature of legend. No hope for salvation and no end in sight. It was a horror that you cannot begin to understand. What stopped her? I can't imagine that a rampaging dragon would just go away on its own. Eventually, the Fire Wing was brought down by a man named Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Well, with the help of the Luftwaffe, of course, but it was experimental weapons designed by Dr. Vauclair that finally pierced her hide. She fell in a hail of bullets and rocket fire and crashed down in the radioactive wasteland of the SOX. This event was called the Dragonfall. Da 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 da! Safe at last from the dragon's wrath, Germany celebrated Vauclair as a hero, our own Siegfried, a modern-day dragon slayer. My own family practically worshipped the man. If the Dragonfall was as important as event as you make it out to be, I'm surprised that I've never heard of it. Those early years of the Awakening were traumatic, Iger. Not just on a national level, but on a global scale. New species of awakened animals were being discovered daily. Without 2 years of the Dragonfall, the active use of magic had returned to the world, a new source of terror for bewildered public. And in 2021, the sudden emergence of orcs and trolls gave rise to yet another wave of global panic. Okay, I see it coming. Next year, we're gonna have to face orcs and trolls. In light of such turmoil, is it any surprise that Dr. Vauclair and the Fire Wing were forgotten? Dragons were yesterday's news. He rubs his templates. Again, all of this happened decades ago. To the best of my knowledge, the story of Feuerschwinger is a bit of a historical trivia and nothing more. Alright, so Monica spent her dying breath trying to tell us about a long-dead dragon. Iger sweeps her eyes across the group, searching for a glimmer of insight. Finally, she gives up. Any ideas as to why? Hamza's voice trembles with frustration. No, it doesn't make any more sense to me than it does to you. The Dragonfall is ancient history. Feuerschwinge has been dead and gone for 42 years. But there's one thing that I do know. Whatever Monica saw, whatever she was trying to tell us, it was important. He visibly struggles to calm himself, takes a deep breath, then slowly releases it. I will look into this, and I will find answers. In the meantime, did you turn up anything else of value? The estate was just front for whatever was going on in the basement. Hamza nods. That much is clear. It wasn't a minor enterprise either. That facility took serious funds to build. And time, there was more to it than we saw. Places like that don't spring up overnight. All in secret, the owners, whoever they may be, were none too pleased by your escape, I'm sure. What else did you find? That's all we've got. That's not much. Ansel nods, his face is drawn and haggard. Is it thin? It is thin, I agree. A basement, a middle-aged orc with the skin grafts, and a long-forgotten world event. Wait, we're still missing something. Who paid for this run? Amsel looks pained. I do not know his exact identity. I did not set up the run. Monica did. I warned her. I told her not to take the job, but she assured me that it would be a cakewalk. Monica was approached recently by a man who called himself Green Winters. He used to be a prominent activist in the F-state political scene. I never much liked the man, and I certainly never trusted him. But Monica, she would do anything for her cause, anything for the Flux state. Besides, Winters swore that the data he was after was crucial to ensuring the future stability of the Flux. And that was all it took. It sounds like Green Winters is our best lead then. Yes, most definitely. It is clear that Green Winters has involved us in something much larger than he led Monica to believe. When he finally finds out what happened on the run, he's probably gonna wrap it. We need to chase him down before that happens. So we need information on Green Winters, and we need it fast. There is a man here in Kreuzbasar, a Turk named Altu Barurgazi. He owns a little Soikav shop just down the way called Café Cheshv. This man is also a purveyor of information. I have done business with him from time to time. And you think he would know something about Green Winters? Amsel nods. When I discovered Monica's renewed association with Green Winters, I contacted Altu. One of his people has been keeping tabs on Winters ever since. As I said, I did not trust the man. Pragmatic. Sounds like it's about time to pay Altu a visit. Yes, tell him I sent you. I will do what I can to dig into the information that you've uncovered already, sparse though it may be. Fine. I've got karma. Great. Yeah, and my party strolls into different directions. And here's the dog named Dante. Okay. Like in Dante's Inferno? Hello. As you start towards the safehouse door, a large four-legged form steps around the corner. Dante. Monica's dog, an enormous mongrel of an indeterminate breed. A low whimper emerges as he enters the room, head hanging low. Oh shit, Dante. Don't worry, boy. We'll look after you. He retracts his head. At the sight of Monica's dog, Amsel's eyes well up. He inhales, but can't quite catch his breath. He started whimpering about an hour ago, turned into a full-blown howl. Wouldn't stop, kept... He closed his eyes. That's when I realized something bad had happened. Looking down into those huge brown eyes, you see intelligence and sadness. He lets out a small whine and rubs his head against you. Okay. Grab Monica's backside jerks treats off the table and give him one. Dante takes the treat in his mouth, but it's clear he has no appetite for it, and the jerky drops on the floor. He leans into you and looks up mournfully, pressing his ribs against your leg. I guess the dog is going with you, slicked Lindsay. Amsel takes a breath and releases it. Then a slow, melancholy smile plays across his face. Well, perhaps a part of Monica lives on in Dante. Return to the safe house when you're finished with R2, my friend. With a little luck, he can help us locate Green Winters, and we can get to the bottom of this. He stares at the floor. And now, I think we should all take a moment. His lips lighten. For Monica. Okay. Story continues. How am I gonna spend 5 karma points? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Oh. Intelligence should be raised. I mean, it has to be. And what else can we do? Charisma? No, we don't have 6 points. We have 2 left. Nothing we can do in that department. But I can raise biotech to 2. Enemy HP visible. That's nice. It's a nice feature. And I think we're good. Now he's not stupid anymore. He's got average intelligence now. Check 2. I don't know if it's enough. I think I'm gonna have to raise intelligence to 4 to unlock the most possible dialogue options. And for now, I'm gonna go to R2. Let's have a look at the whole Kreuzbasar outside. Okay. Reine Neugier, Import Shop. Who is that? Not important right now. Well, where do you go from here? Café Chechre. Yeah, those people are not accessible right now. And he's a dwarf named Jan Goldschmidt. Jan Goldschmidt. Hello, my friend. The voice that comes from the man in the chair is as enormous as its owner. A deep, booming roar, dripping with unrestrained mirth. Okay, roar. A fine day for Zoikov. Yes. Yes, it certainly is a beaut. From the back of the store, the voice of the shopkeep cuts you off. Don't mind the fuel in the share. He rose like a traumatized walrus, stewing all day in his own sweat. The man behind the bar glares at Goldschmidt, his upper lip curled in disgust. I tolerate him only because he takes his soy calf by the bucket. Goldschmidt responds with a raucous belly laugh. Apparently, he finds the shopkeeper's insult to be hilarious. Alto, my friend, you are as quick-witted and sharp-tongued as ever. I bow to you. Are you going to put... Once again, the shopkeep cuts in. To bow to me, You would first have to vacate your chair. The shopkeeper claps his hands together, clasping them in front of his chest. I shall summon a team of determined young men and an ox to assist with the task. With luck, you will be on your feet by nightfall. Goldschmidt smiles at you, his small eyes glittering. Enough of this senseless bickering. You have approached me for a reason, yes? Tell me, what can Jan Goldschmidt do for you? Something bad is going to happen if he doesn't stop interrupting me. Oh, don't mind our dear Altu. Yes, he is a peevish man, but his hire was not directed at you. Goldschmidt grins up at you from his overstuffed chair. I have the distinction of being the sole target of Altu's rage and derision. It is a badge that I delight in wearing. Why did you put up with those insults? Don't you have any pride? I put up with them because they amuse me. The fact that they amuse me, in fact, infuriates my dear friend Altu, who in turn hurls more insult. Goldschmidt raises his Soikav cup in salute. And thus the cycle continues. It is 2 years now that I've been your customer, yes, Altu? 2 years of Soikav and strained patience, yes. And I remain happy, and Altu makes money, an ideal business relationship. That all sounds perfectly healthy. Take care, Jan. Goldschmidt gives you a deep nod, his jowls quivering. Until next time, my friend. Okay. Altu, we're gonna have to chat. First I'm gonna have a look at the menu board. The special today is caramel Soikav. Great. Just great. The man behind the counter looks right past you and the dog following close behind. Dante, I will fetch his water dish. And perhaps a coffee for our friend here? Not now. Paul Amsel sends his regards. When he hears Amsel's name, the Turk voice lowers and his accent becomes less exaggerated. His eyes take on a knowing look. Ah, very good. Please express to Amsel my appreciation of his patronage. If he needs any more catering jobs seeing to in the future, I am always happy to provide. Paul is always pleased to send business your way, Herr Buragazi. He was hoping you could discuss some of the details of his Green Winters order with me. Coffee shop owner offers you a smile. Of course, Herr Amsel is too kind. Buragazi turns his head and calls into the back room. Kami, come! A young woman bustles in from the back room. Her gum chewing is loud enough to hear over the noise of the coffee grinders. Buragazi spits something out in rapid-fire Turkish. As you wish, uncle. I will see to it right away. Kami offers you a shy grin, snaps her gum, and hurries back into the room that she came from. My girl Kami is arranging to make contact with the chef as we speak. This will likely take some time. My chef is a busy man. While we wait, I wonder if you would be so kind as to run a small errand for me. A trifle, really. I hate to trouble you. I am embarrassed to even ask, but I would be most appreciative of your help. Of course, Herr Buragazi, it's no trouble at all. Otto's voice lowers to nearly a whisper. The errand is simple, hardly worthy of you. I have installed a number of data taps to Berlin fiber optic network as part of my civic duty, you understand? These traps provide free matrix access to all who live in the kreuzbasar. In order to maintain their, their anonymity, each tap's protocol buffer must be reset every days. I simply wish for you to visit each data tab and reset it. That's it? No catch? There is no catch, I assure you. It is time-consuming and a bit tedious, nothing more. Just reset the tabs and come back when you are finished. There should be 3 of them scattered around this neighborhood. The first one is just outside. Look for a metal box with a yellow arrow painted atop it. By the time of your return, I should have information Herr Amsel requested. Okay, let's do this runaround quest. And by that we get to learn our neighborhood a little bit. Here's the first one. Here's the first one. Reset the data tab. What's it gonna do? That's it. Just clicking on it, and that's the solution. Fine, fine, fine. Here's another guy we can talk with. It's David. A pair of round eyes peer up at you from under the hood of a grime-smeared winter coat. You recognize him as David, one of the kreuzbasar's street kids. If you had to guess, you'd place him in his mid-teens, though it's difficult to tell beneath the grime and acne marring his face. You've seen him following Monica around between runs, chasing her heels like a lost puppy. She always seems to have a soft spot for the kid. Oh, hi, Slick Flimsy. Have you seen Monica around? I've been looking all over for her. I'm afraid I have some bad news for you, kid. The kid blinks, a blank expression on his face. She's dead, isn't she? It was quick. She went peacefully. That's the most that any of us can hope for. It was horrible. There was blood. No. I go with that one. Yeah. Look, I think I'm gonna be alone right now. Okay, I can understand. Goodbye. This is Talis Krämer. Talis Monger's shop. What do we have here? No, I'd rather leave. I'd rather leave. There's something coming that I'm ill-prepared for. What's this? Dancing lady? I can pay her for dancing. But I won't. There is no benefit in that. I don't want to lose money. Not even one new yen. This is Gunari Medbach. Sounds like a gypsy name. Yeah, the Romani patriarch is an impressive figure. An enormous man in his late 60s, burly and broad-chested despite his age. His voice is deep and resonant, and his breath is heavy with the stench of pipe tobacco. $12 elf. You're here to conduct some business? If so, I welcome you to Medbach's Arms and Ammunition. If not, keep right on working. Well, I was actually hoping to ask you a few questions. You make a purchase, you can ask as many questions as you like. The corner of his mouth twitches upward. Make a big enough purchase and who knows, I might even answer a few. So what will it be? Will you buy some guns or will you be on your merry way? In that case, I suppose I'm buying. Very good. Let's have a look. No, I'm not ready for guns really. I'm pleased with my current rifle, and I don't have a smart link. That would be interesting. I would just require a data jack, and it would make things easier. But right now, I cannot afford such a thing. Can I afford secure tech armor clothing? I could. Would give me a bonus of 5 HP. Nah. Maybe for later. Throwing knife. Ha ha. Not really interesting. And what do we have here? A lonesome dude with nothing to do. And so on. And here's... You looking for some magic, my friend? I've got you cash, old sacks. The Flash. This elf has clearly seen better days. His skin is weathered and emaciated, as though it has been stretched too tightly over his frame. Track marks line the crooks of his arms, and dirty bandages wrap his knuckles. Despite all of this, he seems cheerfully enough. The elf fixes the twinkling, bugged-out eyes on yours and offers you a broad smile, displaying a set of impossibly white teeth. When he speaks to you, his voice is surprisingly deep. Okay. Guten Tag, my friend. You're here for some magic because Jack Flash is your magic man. He gestures at himself with a dramatic flourish. Magic? Are you a street mage? Zack lets out a throaty, barking laugh. Ha! Street mage? Me? Do I look like a street mage to you? He shakes his head, but his smile doesn't waver. He fishes a small bag of pills out of his back pocket and dangles it before your eyes. No, chummer, I'm not a street mage. I've got the magic in my blood and the magic in these bags, but you won't catch old Zack studying any spells. Well, in that case, let's talk about this magic you've got in the bag there. What have you got? Oh, a little bit of everything. I've got your Zan and your Hyper, your Nitro and your Nova Cloak. If you want it, I've got it. Zack leans towards you and lowers his voice to a conspiratorial whisper. I've even got a special concoction of my own design, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you're serious about getting high. So, you want to conduct a little business? What's up with the bandages on your hands? Zack snorts out a short burst of laughter. He waggles his bandages hands in front of you. Oh, these. Nothing much, chum, nothing much. Tussled with a spirit back in Amsterdam. No, we've are a very spiritual people. Oh, I'm an elf. Oh, come off it. Elves are not, on the whole, any more or less magical than anyone else I'm in a position to know. Zack lets us a shout, barking laugh. Ha! Come on. Stop denying yourself. Embrace the power inside of you. You've got the mojo, just like me. Accept it. Flash lowers his voice to a conspiratorial whisper. Between you and me, my mojo is stronger than any corp. Wageman's. Take those rat scum bastards at Ed's Technology. They cast spells all day and all night, right? Fire this and lightning that, just tossing them around like candy. Right. Well, me, I'm just doing my thing, not casting spells. I'm storing up my energy, saving it. Can you imagine how much magic I have? I don't think that's how it works, Zack. Trust me, friend. I have secret knowledge. He slowly turns his head from side to side to give you a good look at his upturned ears. Like I said, it's in the blood. I got not enough biotech. We're gonna continue this discussion later. Fascinating. Well, I've got to run. Take care, Zack. No, I'm not gonna buy drugs, okay? Don't do drugs. Zack offers you a exaggerated wave. Later on then, chum of mine. Okay, this is time for a break, and this is the end of part 3. You will see me in the next part, number 4. Until then, bye!